here at the jetty, and I am tying a swivel onto my line. Then I could switch out to something else easier, either another swim bait or actually switch to a different rig and go bait fishing.
So here I'm tying a polymer knot, and the polymer knot is a pretty easy knot to tie, and it's really one of the strongest knots that you could tie for braided line.
I'm using a 3/4 ounce jig head, 5-inch big hammer swim bait. This is either the watermelon or the bleeding trout. Mark where it's supposed to come out.
Give this a little light thing a try.
First cast.
When I go fishing for rockfish, I almost always use a swim bait first. The reason is, one, it's more active and more fun, and two, you could actually feel for the structure of the rocks under the ocean and get a feel for where those rocks are.
Too deep, huh?
You can see that the way I'm reeling is not super fast or super slow. And so what you want to do with the swim bait is actually swim it back to you really as slow as possible without dragging the swim bait on the floor. And so if you're fishing for rockfish, the optimal depth that you want the swim bait to swim at is probably just an inch or so off the bottom of the sea floor.
Alright, going with the surf leader. It's about a 3-foot leader. High-low rig with a couple of size 1 hooks. You guys saw my last video. Look at this. You guys know that I caught some rockfish with bacon, and guess what? I'm gonna try to catch bacon, or catch bacon. Yeah, I want to catch some bacon. Catch some rockfish with bacon from the shore. Let's see how this does. Really excited. Look how thick this is. It's a thick cut. Man, I'm hungry. I hope the rockfish are too. Not getting any bites right now, and so the best thing to do if you're on a jetty is to move around, especially if you're fishing for rockfish. These fish usually don't move very far from where they're born. It's not like salmon, for example, are extremely migratory and they move around a lot within the ocean. So let's move down the jetty and try another spot. The ocean side, and I'm actually gonna turn this way and inside the harbor and toss this in there to see if I have any luck here.
Since the water was so clear, I actually tried to troll my bait back really slowly just to see if I could see any sort of fish following it.
Back to the ocean side, but I'm gonna walk down a little farther than I was. Okay, you gotta be careful when walking on these jetties. Wonder if I just toss this out like that, if there's anything that'll get it. The good thing about these jetties is that there's so much room to explore, so much real estate.
Too small, but it's like pretty small.
And that's with the Cabezon.
On the limpet.
On limpets.
I wonder if you put the shell on, would they eat it too? Eat it too?
Nah. I know you would. You did.
Did.
It's gross. Spit it out.
Oh yeah, you did, huh?
Not your traditional baits here. Cast shallow first.
If you think you're snagged, don't just keep pulling your line. What you want to do is you want to try to pop your hook up and out of whatever it's snagged on. And you know, sometimes you really can't do that. It's snagged for good, and you just unfortunately have to break your line. But what you could try is try different angles, and even get maybe a little higher, some elevated position, and you could sometimes just pop your hook out of that snag.
Oh my god. I got snagged and there's a fish on here.
So when you have a fish hooked on and you're snagged, usually it really pays off just to be patient. One thing that you could try is to actually give the line just a little bit of slack. Enough slack where the fish sort of feels like, okay, there's no tension anymore, I'm not being pulled, maybe I could swim off. And that way that fish will try to dart out from wherever it is and swim off. And sometimes that itself will actually free your hook from whatever it's snagged on.
There's a fish on here, but I'm snagged. Yeah. Nothing? See that?
Yeah.
There's a fish, but I'm snagged. It's a decent, it seems like a decent one. I don't know what it is. Probably. Yeah, I think so. Oh, he's out. He's out. I know. He looks like he swallowed it.
Yeah, you could be good.
Think it's a keeper?
Yeah.
Yeah, it felt like a pretty decent fight. On the limpet, dude!
We're gonna try our luck somewhere else.
Yeah.
So Cabezon are commonly a olive green color or a reddish color. These fish don't have any scales, and they're actually the largest sculpin species. And they're extremely armored. They have these armor plates around their head and cheek and have spikes. These fish are sculpin, and so they do have venom. Their dorsal spines, just like other rockfish, are venomous. What's even scarier is that these fish might be poisonous, and not the fish meat itself, but the eggs. The fish roe from Cabezon are poisonous, and people have eaten them and have nearly died from eating these poisonous eggs. What's also interesting is that the majority of them, up to 90% of red Cabezon, are actually males. And so I hope it's not a female and this one doesn't have any eggs. And so the females are generally green, and 90% of the green Cabezons are females. Here you could see the lateral line really clearly. If you guys haven't seen my other video about the lateral line and how fish use them to find their food, you should go check that out.
So first thing I'm gonna do right now is knock out the fish. Alright, 1, 2, 3. It should be knocked out now. Look at this, look at what I found in the gills. So I found this in their gills. What is that thing? Weird looking thing. Hopefully this knife is sharp enough. It's my first time using it. Right behind the gill plate. The guts. Want to see what it's eating? Got a knife on you right now? Squeeze all this out. Can't really tell. Yeah, it looks like there's alright, just a little salt and pepper. Salt, pepper, and basil leaves. I forgot one ingredient, and Mass was like, "What'd you say?"
There's a butter hat.
Whoa. Ready. Yeah. Here's our coals. Here's our fish. Cold fish.
11 minutes later.
It's fucking hot. Does look good. Let's see what's done. That part is done. Oh yeah. Oh, that's ready. I think it's ready, dude. Skin.
That's done. Oh yeah. How's it taste?
Tastes really good. I can see why people think that Cabezon tastes like lobster. Because when you bite into it, the consistency of the fish is sort of stiff.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Think it was overcooked?
No, I think it's
Yeah,
perfect.
it's good, right?
Yeah. I like the smaller piece. Skin came off.
Yeah, I know.
It's a little more firm, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like crab or lobster.
Yeah.